What's up, y'all? It's T-Raw in the game, and I'm back with another video. Welcome to T-Raw TV, y'all. So I said in my moving away vlog that I was going to do a 3-month update. It's actually been 4 months. I'm going to just get straight to this video and give y'all an update.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, hey. When they see me, they like, oh no, here we go again. Where my story started isn't where my story ends. One time, not another, let go again. Time one, time two, ooh, you gotta multiply times.
First of all, happy Black History Month to all my brothers and sisters. Anyways, so yeah, I moved here September 22nd-ish, around that week. And it is February 1st now. So yeah, it's, like I said, it's been like 4 months and some days. So if y'all haven't watched the going away vlog, I did talk a little bit about why I was moving from Missouri to Indiana. If y'all didn't watch it, my mom recently passed away in 2020. She passed away in July and school started back in August. I was a wrestler, so if you know anything about wrestling, you know that it's hard mentally, emotionally, physically. It's just draining. And of course, I was starting to grieve the loss of my mom, so I ended up just leaving school. I didn't necessarily know that if I was coming back or not, or if I was going to continue wrestling. I just went with it and just left. My siblings and I just felt like that was the right thing that I needed to do. Just knowing how wrestling is, how many pounds I have to cut, how much pressure I put on myself to do better in anything I do. Just knowing all of that and being at school, it just wasn't for me at that time. So what I did is I packed up everything in my room and moved to Indiana with my sister. And I feel like I made the right decision doing so. At first, I was a little scared, of course. I was frustrated at myself because I am the kind of person that's like, oh, you have to stick through whatever. You have to do it. You got it. That's just kind of how I was raised. I was raised to not give up. And I was raised to just go with everything. If you start something, you have to finish it. So leaving school and not wrestling, doing a sport that I literally signed a contract to do, it was hard for me. But now that I'm in February, if you ask me if I made the right decision, I would say yes. If I stayed at school, who knows what would have happened, or who knows where I would be. I would just be lying to everybody about my grieving process. I wouldn't be talking to anyone. I would just be so depressed and down in my room all the time, not having a social life. And now that I'm here, I'm with my sister daily. So she literally just, I wouldn't say she forces me to do anything, but she helps me and motivates me on the days when I don't feel like doing anything. So I think that's helpful. Not saying that I didn't have those kind of friends at school. I just know that I push people away when I'm upset. And my sister knows that, so she's more intentional on doing things. When I first got here, I started working at a daycare, and I still work at the daycare currently. It's actually the daycare that my nephew goes to, which I love. I love just being able to just walk past his classroom, just say hi, whatever. I love the kids that I work with. I work with 2-year-olds. They're bad. I wouldn't say they're bad, but they're 2-year-olds, so yeah. The kids love me. I love them. I do get annoyed sometimes just because I'm working with kids every single day. But other than that, I love my job. I love everything about it. I have been a little down lately just because of the events that's happened. But I've been trying to like work on myself, do things intentionally, like hanging out with my sister, hanging out with a few friends that I have met, going to youth groups, just being active. It's been working a little bit, but you know, we all have our days, and it's been a little hard to get through. Some days it's hard to get out of bed. Some days it's hard to just clean up. Some days it's hard to want to go to work and all that other stuff. Sometimes I just don't have motivation. Other days I am happy, I'm loud. And other days I'm just in my room all the time, which of course some of us, or even most of us, or all of us, have those days. But I don't want to be like that for the rest of my life. I know when I first left in September, I remember just crying a lot. Not because I was leaving the school, because I felt like I was leaving my friends, my sisters, and just the friends that I met, the few friends, I felt like I was leaving them. Of course, they understood why I was leaving, and understood that I needed to go. They wanted me to do better, which I appreciate them, but a part of me just still felt like I was leaving them. So I had to learn to get through that, which I did. I intentionally contact them, call them, text them, whatever, send them TikToks, just for them to know that, like, we're still sisters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how far I am. So I talked about wrestling a little bit, and I've decided that I am no longer going to wrestle anymore. It's not because I don't want to wrestle, it's because I know that I don't need to. I've prayed about it, I've talked to people about it, and wrestling is not a passion for me. It's not my purpose. So there's no reason for me to go back doing something that I no longer need to do. God don't want me to do it, so I'm not going to do it. I think that was answered really clear. I miss wrestling every day. I miss being with my teammates. I miss the teammates that I didn't even get to know that well before I left. I miss, like, just the culture of wrestling. I miss being an athlete, I would say, in general. But I don't need to be an athlete. In high school, that's something that I didn't think about. Because I know for me, sports was a way to get out. And that's how it is for a lot of black people, unfortunately. It's like, if I'm going to go to college, I have to be so good at one sport or more to be able to get there. Because, let's face it, some of us cannot afford college without some kind of scholarship. And being an athlete is something that comes easily to a lot of us. So yeah, my senior year of high school, I said, of course I'm going to get this scholarship. And I just went to wrestling. I wouldn't say I didn't think about it, but I really didn't think about it clearly before I did it. I thought I was making the right decision. I'm glad I did make that decision, though, because I met friends and sisters and brothers that I will love forever. But I now know that I no longer need to do that. So speaking of school, I'm still in school. I'm doing online classes now, which is, pray for me. I'm doing online classes. I did have the choice on, like, if I wanted to just leave school completely, or if I wanted to just work, or if I wanted to stay in school, do online classes while living in Indiana. So that's what I decided to do. For me, I know if I leave school now, I'm probably not going to go back. That's just me. I'd rather just get through all of my years at once and just stick it out. Obviously, if I don't need to be in school, I won't, because that would be contradicting what I just said before. But as of right now, I'm going to continue with school until I graduate. Who knows what the future holds, but like I said, as of right now. So yes, I'm still at the same school I was at in Missouri, doing online, just trying to figure out what I'm going to do next fall, next school year. So I stated in September that my mental health was low. Obviously, my mom had passed away 2 months before that, and it was just hard. It was hard to just breathe most of the time. I just felt like I couldn't breathe. Even my roommate and I, like, put up these black things on our windows just so no light would come through. So I was always in a room, pitch black, no TV, nothing, sleep all the time. I was just done with life. Literally just done. No emotions was on my face. I don't remember laughing most of the time. My friends would ask me if I wanted to hang out. I would just say no or ignore them. And I would say that has changed. I wouldn't say that I'm okay all the way, because I'm not. Obviously, this process is going to be longer than anything I've ever had to deal with in life. But I would say that I am better mentally than I was September 22nd. And I say that because the people I'm surrounded by now motivates me to do things that I don't think I would have ever done. If y'all hear the people outside, it's because they trying to get this snow off the ground. That's not coming up, obviously. Whatever. But also, my faith in God has just grown so much. And I literally just don't say that to say it. It's the truth. I feel it. I know it. I can just finally say out loud that I believe in God. I believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. And that's something that I couldn't even say a year ago, a couple months ago. So I feel good about that. I've been hanging around friends who are trying to grow in their faith also. So I think that's a big difference from then and now when it comes to my faith. It's been hard though, because I do feel like I'm isolated from a lot of things. Just because, like, my friends or from back home, my friends from back home, family from back home, it's just hard to not be around those people anymore because that's what I was used to. So now I'm around new things, new people, a new environment, which is so good for me, but it's still hard. But I do think that's why my mental health, or I know that's why my mental health got better, just because I'm more intentional. I've said that word so many times, but I'm more intentional with what I do, who I hang around, how I talk, when I talk. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And unfortunately, I don't know the reason on why my mom or even other people pass away. But I know there's a reason, there's a purpose. 2020 was either bad for some people or it was incredible for others. And unfortunately, I was on the bad side, but I don't take that as a loss necessarily. I take that as something's big going to happen to me in the future. All I have to do is just trust in God and focus on Him and obey Him in order for that to happen. So knowing that, I would say that that's what keeps me sane. Of course, I have my days. I cry a lot. I think about my mom all the time. But I just know that there's certain things that happened prior to her passing away that make so much sense now. For instance, I had just turned 19 on July 2nd, 2020. And 2 weeks before that, I had just got my permit. First time getting my permit. And I passed it. A week later, I got my license on the first try. A month before July, I didn't know how to drive at all. My coach let me use her car sometimes, and that's how I learned. I pick up on things pretty easy, I would say. So I learned how to drive fast. So I got my permit, got my driver's license, was able to go home for my birthday. The last time I saw my mom was July 4th, but I bought my own car the day before. And the last time I saw my mom was me showing her everything that I accomplished. I had a job. I was working full-time. I was working overtime. I was working so hard, like 100 hours a week. I didn't necessarily like the job, but I was working so hard. And then I decided to use that money to get a car. And like I said, the last time I saw my mom was July 4th. That's when I was showing her my car. She was so happy. So I just know that, like, God wanted her to see those things. And other stuff happened with my siblings. That makes sense now. But with me, everything that led up to July 10th when she passed away, or July 4th, my last day seeing her, it just makes so much sense now. So why wouldn't I believe that it's going to make sense later on in life on why that happened or why she passed away? Of course, it's sad. Of course, I miss my mom. I love her to death. However, I just know that she's better off in heaven. She's better off smiling down on us instead of struggling mentally and whatever she was going through in St. Louis, Missouri by herself most of the time. So, yeah. Anyways, I think that's it. That's just a little update video, not long at all. Just me explaining where I've been and all that stuff. I am going to try to be on YouTube a lot more. Try to make videos a lot more. And yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. 4 months in. I don't know how many more months to go. But we're going to trust the process. And I hope y'all can come on this journey with me.